So 2 new Spirit Halloween animatronics for 2025 have just been leaked and put up on the website. And overall, these two look really awesome. I'm excited to see them sold at Spirit for this year. So anyways, today we're going to be talking about everything about these new animatronics, including animation, price, and everything else. So anyways, with that said, let's of course get right in checking out these new Spirit Halloween animatronics for 2025. What's up, Pawners? I'm Alex, as always, and welcome back to the channel. Of course, this video, I'm going to try and get it out as soon as possible. As I'm recording this, it's been like 30 minutes since this stuff came out. I'm going to try and get it out tonight, but of course, it might be tomorrow by the time I get this out. But anyways, 2 new Spirit Halloween animatronics have kind of been leaked. I'm not sure if they were purposefully leaked or Spirit actually put the page out, but it does seem like they are currently available on their website. They just haven't announced it publicly on their socials, so I assume it's supposed to be for their launch tomorrow, but they're doing like a secret release tonight maybe, or they accidentally put up the page. But anyways, we got 2 animatronics right here to check out today. We of course got Trick or Treat Pete, an interesting one. He has Bluetooth features, he has this new candy feature, which is interesting. And of course, we also have this new one called the Crypt Countess, which is this new one that has a newer animation. I'm not 100% sure if it's brand new, I believe it is, but overall, that one looks awesome and might be one of my favorites for this year. So anyways, 2 awesome ones. It's probably going to be a shorter video, but overall, I really want to talk about these because we haven't really seen demos of these yet, so it's really awesome to see. So anyways, with that said, that's enough talking there for the intro. Let's, of course, get right into checking out these 2 animatronics right here. Starting off, of course, with the coolest one, in my opinion, which is, of course, the Crypt Countess.
This place holds countless souls, each a prisoner. This is your fate now, too. We are bound to this cursed place together.
Alright, and that right there, everyone, was the official demo for this new animatronic, which overall, that animation is probably the coolest thing going for this animatronic. Also looks cool and everything, but yeah, let's get into talk about just everything about this. Of course, yeah, let's just start with that animation, which looks insane. Of course, it has 2 different animations, the one being the mouth animation right there, which overall, nothing too crazy. I think most animatronics need to have mouth movement, especially if they're talking, so it is a nice addition there. But then get into the other motion, which I guess is kind of 2 motions. It's sort of her body. It moves around like kind of in this weird way. I don't know how to describe it. Sort of like those body twisted animations we've seen, but this one, it's a little bit different. It's like a little bit faster, a little bit more violent, I would say. And with this one too, the head is sort of like stabilized up there, which I wonder if that is a separate motion. I assume it's like all connected in there, so her head is like stabilized along with the body movement right there. But overall, insane animation right there, and unlike anything we've really ever seen before, we have quite often seen animatronics that do rotate around kind of like this, but never in this exact way. So overall, this is nice to see them sort of take this idea for an animation, but improve it in this way and give us this really cool prop. So yeah, that's awesome. And then just getting into the look of this animatronic, overall, it's really awesome. I think it's supposed to be kind of like this graveyard character, maybe like this ghostly woman kind of thing, or grave watcher type of animatronic. I'm not exactly sure, but just some sort of like creepy graveyard monster type of thing. And overall, the look looks pretty awesome. Of course, the head right there, it looks decent. It definitely looks like it is SVI, I would think. You know, it just has that typical SVI look, but still cool. You got the white hair coming out there. Then you have the clothing on her. It looks really well detailed. They did a great job on that. It's the creepy cloth all over, which looks awesome, hanging down and everything. There's chains around her wrist right there, like she just broke out or something. That's awesome. Then you have the bottom of the clothing right there. Looks really well detailed. It's kind of like this nice like dirt pattern a bit. Then like around her waist right there, some awesome details. Overall, just really interesting clothing on this. They definitely put a lot of work into this. So overall, that is really awesome. Some great designs on this. And then of course, audio on this. It sounds pretty good, the audio. It looks like there's 4 different lines that can play. Of course, you saw the one there in the demo right there. And of course, a few other ones right here, and they all sound pretty good. They're not too weird sounded. They kind of fit the prop and everything, which is nice. And yeah, of course, I think that's really all the features that this animatronic has. Overall, really awesome, and yeah, the animation just definitely really makes me love this animatronic. It's unlike anything we've seen before, and it definitely looks a bit more lifelike, maybe that's the thing with it too. Like lots of the other ones that used to rotate around, they always look, I don't know, so robotic, but this one looks a little bit more human, which I do appreciate. And then yeah, of course, some other details about this, of course, coming at $300, which is a little bit pricey, but for what it is, I don't think it's too bad of a deal for the animatronic. $300 seems like a solid price for this. Of course, it is coming in at 7 feet tall, so it is a bit of a taller one, so I guess the price kind of fits that. A lot of their taller animatronics around 300 now, and then, yeah, the animation, everything, so 300 for this. Pretty good deal. Honestly, if this comes to Canada and they do have the 20% off coupon this year, which I really hope they do, this might be one that I would pick up, possibly. Oh no, I really have to decide what I'm going to buy this year because I can only fit so much more in my haunt, but this is honestly one that maybe I'd consider getting. It looks really awesome, and yeah, honestly, great animatronic, and maybe one of the best ones from Spirit this year. Alright, and next up right there was, of course, the second animatronic we got revealed today, which is, of course, the brand new Trick or Treat Pete, which, honestly, this guy right here, I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't know, it's a little bit disappointing with this guy. Of course, getting into talk about him, let's, of course, talk about that animation, which is the one thing that he really lacks. Now, he does have that one feature, of course, with the candy where it's some sort of like motor that runs in his head that spits it out periodically, which overall, I guess that's a nice animation. You know, it does sort of add something different to this guy that we've never seen before. But overall, I was really wishing that there would be just something else going for this guy, like maybe some arm animation, he moves the bowl around, or even his mouth. Maybe it would even open to spit out candy, but yeah, it doesn't really have anything, which is a little bit disappointing. I really was hoping they would have something else. But still, that candy feature is sort of unique, and unlike anything else we've seen before, so he's a bit more of a unique character just because of that. But yeah, of course, into other stuff about this guy, of course, his costume and looks and everything. Overall, it's not too bad. Of course, it's sort of a different look than just the typical clowns, which I like. Of course, color scheme on him is just the blue, red, and then green on there, which overall, it's like colors we've seen before in clowns, but it is nice to see a big variety of colors and the patterns, everything they used. And then the costume too, it's a little bit different. He's got like this overshirt on, he's got the big bow tie, he's got a top hat. Overall, not your typical clown look, which is definitely appreciated. And then yeah, of course, audio on this guy, which is the interesting thing. Of course, the one audio he comes with, you know, it's simple, it's not the worst, not the best, it's all right audio. But the really cool thing is he does have Bluetooth. And it's an interesting choice that they would give this guy Bluetooth over anything. I'm curious how exactly you would make that work and everything, because it seems like you record your own voice and then you just play it through Bluetooth to this. I think that's kind of what you do. So overall, I'm curious how exactly that'll sound, like hook up your own Bluetooth and everything, and then how that'll pair with the candy dispensing thing. I'm really curious on that. But overall, for what this guy is, you know, he looks all right, sounds all right, and then I guess the animation is decent, but I really just wish he had more to offer. So overall, for this guy, not my favorite prop of this year. He's not necessarily a really bad one. I think he'd just be lower down on my list, but still a cool one. Anyways, getting to the last little part about this guy, let's go to talk about price and everything. Of course, this guy's coming in at $240, which seems a little bit pricey because, of course, he does not have really any animation. He doesn't have too much really going for him. He's really just more of a static, so $240 seems a little bit pricey for me. I guess he does have that Bluetooth feature too, but Bluetooth features, it doesn't really add too much more to a prop, especially if it's just like connecting audio to it. So overall, $240, it does seem a little bit steep for this guy. I think $200 would have been much more reasonable for Spirit, because something like this at another retailer would probably be like $150, so almost $100 over that. Yeah, it just seems crazy. $240 for this guy. But overall, I guess he has a decent height, 5'4", which without the top hat, that's probably closer to like 4'10" or 4'9" or something. But you know, overall, Trick or Treat Pete here, for what he is, he's a decent prop. It's not one that I'm a big fan of, but yeah, I do really like that new idea with the candy dispensing feature. Looks really awesome. And but yeah, for people who are gonna buy this guy this year, I'm sure he's gonna be an awesome prop, just not one that I really love. And anyways, with all that said, everyone, that of course is it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoy. Of course, right there is 2 new animatronics that we've just gotten released, and I assume that tomorrow, which is either the day that I post this video or hopefully the day after I post this, of course, these animatronics should be released on like social media and everything. They'll probably have posts about. Maybe we'll even see more animatronics released, because I assume this next wave here, they'll probably have multiple that they release. But anyways, these guys look decent and cool to see some more Spirit Halloween animatronics released. Anyways, with that said, that is all. Please make sure to like and subscribe and comment your thoughts down below on these 2 awesome animatronics. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.